Greetings, everyone. I'm Adam Harrington.
Hey, everyone. We're going to be reviewing this video, the license plate that makes people upset. And this may seem random, but this guy's actually from Pennsylvania, and he has a nice following. I've watched some of his videos before. He's really smart. And yeah, it's interesting. He's young too. And yeah, we're just going to review this video because I'm from Pittsburgh too. I'm sure he's been around here, and he lives like pretty close to Pittsburgh, I'm pretty sure. Kind of close. But this guy's really smart. He definitely knows about land. He mostly talks about Pennsylvania. And in this video, I watched some of it, the license plate that makes people upset. We're going to discuss it and some of the things he discussed in this video.
And I've got an interesting video for you today. We are going to talk about a license plate. Yes, a license plate. But not just any old license plate. We are going to talk about a brand new license plate that surprisingly is a bit controversial, and it's making some people upset. So this is a newly issued Pennsylvania license plate available for passenger cars and trucks, and it features a flower and several insects. So why on earth is this license plate making people upset? Well, as you know, the Learn Your Land channel doesn't really talk about automobiles too often, but we do talk about nature and ecology. And the controversy with this license plate has everything to do with a particular topic that's pretty hot right now in ecological circles, and that topic is native versus non-native species. The biggest complaint that people have regarding this new license plate is that it features a flower that's not native to Pennsylvania, and that flower is purple coneflower Echinacea purpurea. Purple coneflower, according to some people, is a really poor choice for a Pennsylvania license plate because it sends
I think the flower looks pretty cool.
the wrong message. Our state flower should be on the plate, people say, or any other flower that's native to Pennsylvania, but not an introduced plant like purple coneflower. Now, I have a few thoughts on the issue, and I'd like to share them with you today. And I'll start out by saying that if a nature-themed license plate is capable of making a person upset, then I wonder about that person's relationship with meaningful challenges in life. Having said that,
So he's actually making fun of people. It's very funny how he did it. He wasn't being rude. He was just basically saying people are stupid. But in a nice way. That's kind of funny.
that nowhere on the license plate does it say anything about native species. The point of the license plate, according to the Pennsylvania...
I haven't seen these license plates. I don't know how long they've been out. That does look like our license plate, but it doesn't say PEC, pollinator habitat, or the flower. I haven't seen that. I've seen things close to that.
Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, or PennDOT, is to generate money for the Pollinator Habitat Program Fund, which helps to reinvigorate the populations of insects which pollinate plant life. Yes, native plants support
Okay, and before, because I already watched this video, I'm not going to be talking too much in this video because I don't know how much. There's definitely stuff to talk about, but I want to let him say what he has to say. So here's my question. Here's what I have to say about this. And like I said, I watched this earlier, but so this whole license plate thing is for you to make donations for wildlife and more so perpetuate and for the perpetual for the government, because I wasn't sure if it was through PennDOT or what it was through, if it was through the government or by some individuals. It's obviously through the government if it's PennDOT. And here's the thing, my whole spiel about this video that maybe he doesn't even see, but he is a smart guy, is the fact that the donations that we donate to the government, we shouldn't have to donate shit. First of all, the government's in control. The government can do whatever they want. They have as much money as possible. So if they really wanted to fix an issue, you wouldn't have to donate any money. It wouldn't make sense unless the government didn't have money. But the government needs money to even exist. So they feed off of our money, and more importantly, they make the money. All in all, if any system of government wanted to solve an issue, you wouldn't ask money from its citizens. You would just go and solve the issue. In fact, we are a part of the government. So all the usually donations, unless they're particularly going straight to the individual, every time they're through an organization, churches and religion have done the same thing where they always ask for money. But churches are actually some of the rich people, especially if you ever see like a mega church. Plus churches are everywhere, like literally everywhere. So you can see what I'm talking about right here, as in these donations, especially for hospitals, it's like they're asking for something they already have the answer to, and you're being manipulated because the cures to things have already been found. They've just been brushed under the rug, but they still ask for donations, and people have no clue about the cures. So it's like a crazy loophole. Yeah. So this is my main problem about this, is it's still hickory. It's has no value. It's like it's people are wasting their money and so forth. That was my candle that fell.
Pollinators, but the truth is, many non-native plants do too. Now, we are making assumptions here, and we're assuming that the flower depicted on the license plate is actually purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. Obviously, the flower on the plate is a coneflower in the Echinacea genus, but nowhere on PennDOT's website does it state what species of Echinacea this is. It could be another coneflower, perhaps one that is undoubtedly native to Pennsylvania, and that species is smooth purple coneflower, Echinacea laevigata. Now, smooth purple coneflower no longer grows wildly in Pennsylvania because it has been extirpated or removed from the state, but the species still grows elsewhere in the US. If the image does depict smooth purple coneflower, then no one really has to be upset because smooth purple coneflower is technically a native Pennsylvania species. But let's assume that the flower on the plate is purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. The intention of the license plate is to generate funds for pollinator habitats. And wouldn't you know it, purple coneflower is undoubtedly a fantastic plant for pollinators. A variety of insects, including bumblebees, honeybees, long-tongued bees, bee flies, and butterflies, love spending time on and around purple coneflower. We are also assuming that Echinacea purpurea is not native to Pennsylvania. According to the USDA Plants Database, this species is native to Pennsylvania. But some people don't like using this database to determine what's native and what's not. Some people like using another resource called BONAP, or the Biota of North America program. When we consult BONAP,
These pages, some of these old pages look like ancient freaking history books.
we see that Echinacea purpurea is native to the United States, but it's not native to Pennsylvania. It's adventive, meaning it has been introduced into Pennsylvania, but it's not well established on its own yet. Okay, so BONAP does not consider purple coneflower to be native to Pennsylvania, but the plant is native to counties pretty close to Pennsylvania. According to BONAP,
Again, they're all man-made orders, and this just expels into because we all used to live together, and all races used to live together, and they were more connected, you could say. So the borders and all this separation just goes to deal with how the world's thinking. Their mind and their thoughts of these egotistical individuals are propelling, literally projecting into the real life manifestation of the borders that we see. These borders aren't real, but I get it. I get it, obviously.
purple coneflower is native to this county right here, Carroll County, which is located only 23...
Not to mention the division inside the counties, all the ordinances in the counties. It's a fucking headache. No one knows all the laws. How can anybody know the laws? There's so many. The only one who knows a lot of laws is a lawyer, and and the average person has no clue. There's too many laws to know.
3 miles from the border of western Pennsylvania. And if we head north to this county in Ohio, Lake County, where purple coneflower is also native, then the border of western Pennsylvania is just a few more miles away, 27.7 miles to be exact. What this means is that if the western border of Pennsylvania was shifted only 30 miles west when it was politically established in the late 1700s, then no person today would be complaining about this license plate. But let's forget about political boundaries for just a second, because a political boundary is just one kind of boundary. There are other boundaries that we could recognize, like physiographic boundaries. The eastern Ohio counties, where purple coneflower grows, are located within physiographic provinces that extend into Pennsylvania. Physiographic provinces are geographic regions with distinct physical features and landforms. Carroll County is located in a physiographic province called the Appalachian Plateau. Lake County is located in two physiographic provinces, the Appalachian Plateau and the Central Lowland. Both of these physiographic provinces extend into Pennsylvania. Now I get it, these physiographic provinces are large and they encompass a lot of land. Much more land than a single state does. So it's not always useful to base the native status of a plant on its physiographic province, but it is useful to understand that other boundaries besides state boundaries exist. And when we observe these other boundaries, then our concepts and ideas, and perhaps even fears of what's native and what's not, change. But let's obey the political boundaries for now, and let's accept the current dividing lines between the states today. I don't think it would be too extreme to suggest that if we go back far enough in time, purple coneflower could be native to what is now Pennsylvania, but over time it became extirpated or removed from the state. Let me explain my reasoning. When we talk about the native status of a particular species, we do so within the context of time and space. We already talked about space: Pennsylvania, Ohio, Appalachian Plateau, Central Lowland. But what about time? What year do we unanimously recognize as the cutoff year for a particular species to be considered native? Is it 1492? Or could it be further back in time? Interestingly, there is no general consensus on this issue. The reason I am tossing out the idea that purple coneflower could have once grown naturally in what is now Pennsylvania is that prairie plants in North America, and purple coneflower is a prairie plant, migrated east during a warming period that took place approximately 5,000 years ago. This is why a plant like prairie smoke, a member of the rose family that grew...
That flower looks... Okay, there's water, but that flower just... I seen this actually a little bit before I started this, because that's where I left off. And the prairie smoke looks ridiculous.
Grows in prairies and open woodlands in the western and midwestern portions of the continent. Also grows in a few isolated pockets in eastern habitats, for example, in upstate New York. Prairie smoke migrated east when the climate changed. The current populations of prairie smoke that are now found in eastern habitats became isolated from their core prairie populations when the climate became cooler and wetter. When we consider purple coneflower, I don't think it's unreasonable to suggest that it too could have extended its range eastward into what is now Pennsylvania thousands of years ago when the climate warmed. But it contracted its range and disappeared from Pennsylvania when conditions became cooler and wetter. If something like that did happen, then the status of Echinacea purpurea would be similar to the status we reserve for Echinacea laevigata, native to Pennsylvania, but extirpated. Lastly, I should probably address the honeybee on the license plate, because if we are talking about native species, well, the honeybee isn't native to Pennsylvania. In fact, it's not native to the United States. All I'll say is that honeybees are fantastic pollinators, and if we like honey, if we eat any of the dozens of food plants that are pollinated by honeybees, apples, almonds, broccoli, melons, squash, and others, then we should probably express our deepest gratitude for honeybees and not condemn them. So I think that's all I got on the license plate issue. So I think I'll stop here and I'll ask you, what do you think? Is this license plate worth getting upset over? Is purple coneflower a poor choice?
I don't think it's worth getting upset over. I mean, it's such a petty thing. You don't even need to ride with a license plate anyway. If you know the law, you don't need to have a license either. It's very true. Only if you're driving commercial, which is especially in Pennsylvania, but I imagine in other states too. Yeah, it is in other states. You don't have to have a license or a license plate. Only for driving commercial, so it would have to be for a company. But again, if you're just driving leisure, you have the free right to drive leisurely, actually.
For a Pennsylvania license plate that was designed to raise funds for pollinator habitats, if you've got any thoughts, questions, concerns, general pains, the comment section is a good...
I have seen that flower. People grow that in more suburb yards. I'm pretty sure if that's the flower I've seen. That's the only time I see it, and I see it more up kind of like north of me, which is north of Pittsburgh. But people usually have that in a garden where the grass is cut really fine.
Good place to leave them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed watching it, please subscribe to the Learn Your Land YouTube channel. And if you want to stay in touch, I encourage you to head on over to learnyourland.com and sign up for the email newsletter. Thanks again for watching. I will see you on the next video.
His channel has blew up significantly. I can't imagine him. I know he teaches classes. He's only about Pennsylvania. He doesn't even want to leave Pennsylvania. I heard him say that because he wants to really study the land. And that's fantastic. Yeah, I can't imagine. He must be making a bunch of money, especially off of YouTube now. But I know he already probably has teaches classes and stuff. As for that flower, I don't necessarily see that all the time. Like I said, and our geographic flowers and wildlife differs throughout the state. So something that's on the west of the state is going to be different when you go to Philly. Not dramatically, but there will be variety of species just because something's over here. Because I heard him the one time talking about some type of flower or plant, but he says that he had to go out of his way to find it. But meanwhile, over here, I'm trying to remember, I see it all the time. It's like just everywhere. But where he was at in Pennsylvania, which probably isn't even too far from me, I forget where he goes all around though. He didn't see the same flower or plant. So it just goes to show you, yeah, there's abundance in areas, it's desolate in others. That's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for stopping by.